Hello everyone, my name is MJ Volches, and welcome to a second part of the creation process stream of my entry for this month's hashtag TUP Art Challenge. Yeah, we are working on a scene from chapter 24, I think. Was it 24 or 23? I think it was 24. Yeah, it's a very spoiler-rich part, so if you haven't read the book, Gregor the Overlander by Suzanne, I do not recommend you watching more. But yeah, this is part 2, and in this part, we're gonna go straight to inking, which is in Inktober, usually the final part of an art. But yeah, it doesn't mean that we're not gonna be doing more for this part. But yeah, without further ado, let's start doing some inks for this one. And I'm using Blender 2.90 in creating this artwork. I'm planning to create a comic cinematic, just like my previous entry for the challenge. TUP Art Challenge, by the way, is a challenge that I initiated myself to tell people who follow the Underland project that I am still working on the project, and I have been making a whole lot of progress in the project, which I will be sharing to you soon. I also share it all the time on my social media sites. The link will be in the description below, even on the Discord server. So yeah, let's get some inking done for this artwork. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to rename this first stroke object that we have here to sketch, and we are not going to be touching this stroke anymore. What we're going to do is we're going to proceed into working on each layers of our artwork here. There's the background layer, and then there's the cliff layer, the floor layer right here. There's the Gregor layer, and then there's probably 3 to 4 layers of rats here. This is the foreground layer, and then there's gonna be like rats on the middle there. That's gonna be a separate layer as well, and also probably 2 more layers of rats, because I really want to populate this part right here with rats to emphasize that Gregor here is being chased by a lot of them. So yeah, let's do that. I actually need to make the background a little bit brighter for this, just so it's not too dark. And let's add first, actually I need to turn on the overlays by pressing this one. I need the 3D cursor visible as well, and I'm going to add a new grease pencil object, a blank one. I'm gonna rename this background, or BG, and then I'm going to move it way back, like maybe right here. Yeah, that would be good. And I'm gonna go to the front view. I'm gonna hide the camera for now. Let me just do this. Turn on some excuse me. Turn on some restriction toggles. And I'm going to start drawing the background. It's doing some ink for the background. And this is actually going to be an easy one. Let's go Control Tab the draw mode. And I'm just going to go back to front view. Make sure that we're drawing in the front view for the final objects here, for the final grease pencil objects, so that there's no lines that would not be aligned with the other strokes. There are no strokes that would not be aligned with the other strokes. Because if you do it in the camera view, it will mess up the drawing. And you'll know how it messes up the drawing if you do it. But yeah, I guess the fastest way to explain it is that your drawing won't be flat. It's gonna be slightly slanted when you draw it on the camera view instead of the front view, which is important, especially when you plan to animate your drawing or animation. Right? This is 2D animation in Blender, but you can make artworks with it. So yeah, I'm going to add a new layer. Just call this BG, I guess. And I'm gonna go to the material preview. I'm gonna add the material tab here. I'm gonna add solid stroke, which is the existing material for the sketch. I'm also going to go back to sketch actually and reduce the opacity of a lot of things here. Yeah, I'm gonna reduce the opacity of this sketch. And here we go. Now I'm going to select BG again. I'm gonna control tab to drawing mode. I'm gonna start drawing a cliff here. So just, our background is gonna be a simple, just some lines indicating that there's like a wall of a cavern here. Hey there, Mbuddy. You done with your special artwork? So yeah, I'm just gonna draw some lines here. Probably add some what do you call these things? Stalagmite or stalactites? I'm gonna add those right there. And then just draw some lines here and there. I actually did an oopsie, so I'm gonna have to delete all of that. Go back to draw mode again, and I need this to be in pen. I need to use pen. Strength shouldn't be manipulated by pressure, but the radius will be. So let's do that again. I think our radius is too big for this. Maybe about 15 will do. So just draw those like that. Actually, I can still change the thickness of the stroke later. So something like this. Let's bring back the stalagmites or stalactites. Maybe I'll keep going like this. For the ceiling, we might need it when we zoom out. Maybe not curving it like that. Maybe going further straight up here, just to indicate that it is a high ceiling for the cavern. But yeah, chances are those parts won't be visible for the final render. And it looks like, yeah, it's too far out there, which can be fixed later on by scaling it, but I'm gonna scale it later. For now, I'm gonna keep drawing parts of a background here. Probably go further down. So this is just a cave. Let me add some rocks. More what is above? Stalagmites or stalactites? I always forget which ones are the ones, protruding, from the ceiling. I don't know which ones are at the ceiling or the ones on the floor. So yeah, I'm gonna just keep on drawing. So this is just gonna be inks, a whole lot of inking. And more right here. More we really need to Google this one of these days. The stalagmite and stalactite thing. I actually knew it before, but the knowledge did not retain. So I'd like to keep a nice, like it would arc like this, I guess. It may add focus to our main subject here, which is Gregor. So I'm just gonna keep going with the curving here. So this, like, this should add some that should contribute to adding more focus on our character, on our main subject. So I'm just gonna go draw some lines here. I guess it gets thinner as we go further on the sides here. So just gonna keep drawing some of that, and then I'm gonna go to camera view and select everything. I'm just gonna scale this. Actually, first I'm gonna go to object mode. To go to object mode, Shift S, cursor to selected, so that the 3D cursor is right on the center of our origin there, of the grease pencil object. And then I'm gonna period and 3D cursor and scale it so that it scales from the 3D cursor. And I'm just gonna go and do it like this. Probably bring it down a bit. Excuse me. So yeah, probably need to add more, so let's do that. Back to draw mode. I'm gonna add more of the walls right here. And just do all this, and I think the thickness is already good. We can change this by selecting everything and pressing Alt S. And as you can see, the thickness is being updated, or selecting this option here, radius, and then clicking and dragging. But I'm not going to be changing the thickness for now. So I'm gonna go to object mode. I'm probably gonna change the opacity to about something like this for now, because we are going to work on the floor one, the cliff one, next. So we have our wall here, our wall layer of the cave. Next, we are going to do the floor. So I'm gonna put the 3D cursor to the world origin by pressing Shift S and then selecting cursor to world origin. And I'm gonna shift a grease pencil, add a blank object, grease pencil object again, and call this a cliff. So yeah, I think that's good right there. I'm going to yeah, I think that's good. I'm gonna go to front view. Hey there, Carly Car, welcome. We are now doing some inks for the the Inktober art QPR challenge, the leap artwork that I titled The Leap. So there's cliff. I'm gonna add a new layer. Call this cliff or kiff or cliff, and then do some inking. So I'm just gonna go Control Tab. I also need to add that solid stroke material here, and then I'm gonna set the radius to 25. Let's go back to 25 and go to front view, because as I said, we'll need to draw in the front view for this. And for the cliff, just gonna draw something like that. So this is the cliff of a huge canyon, and Gregor is running towards a really, it's probably best to start on the middle. So draw and just do something like this, like that, for the cliff. So this is the floor of the cliff. These lines will probably help our eyes to determine like the shape of the cliff. I'm gonna add some rocks as well here. Just where this here as well. And then more on the cliff. So I'm not going to be spoiling too much on the story, but something happens to this cliff that causes well, lots of death. Anyway, let's just keep going right here. I'm really gonna go out of bounds so that later when we move the camera, you know, we have enough to work on. So this is like the cliff, the floor. Gonna add the other rocks right here. Just going with a floor going like that. This is a very deep cliff. The immeasurable depth. That's what they said, because you know it's a very deep drop. It's a very deep drop. So just continue with the floor like this and like that. So you can already see, you know, our floor. And then just gonna go overboard with it. Let's see how it looks like here. It looks nice. Excuse me. So one other thing we're gonna need to add for this cliff object is a fill layer, because as you can see here, we can see our background and we don't want that. So I'm gonna move this layer below our cliff layer and call this cliff underscore fill. I should probably also call this underscore line or Kai line. Okay, and then for the material, I'm just gonna go black fill. I'm gonna uncheck stroke and check fill, and since that's already black, we're good to go. And what I'm gonna do for the fill, I'm just gonna start with the middle part here and just do something like this. So there's not gonna be any lighting for this, because this is, as I said, make sure we pick the right layer when drawing something. Otherwise, something like that will happen, where the fill is not exactly behind the line. So I'm just gonna draw this part right there. Excuse me. I gotta check the point select. Tell you what, let's do this again. I'm gonna go to draw mode. I'm gonna do it line by line, like so, or layer by layer of the cliff layer. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about too. Layer by layer of the cliff layer, and just, you know, add it to the points here so that there's no spots, there's no blank spots, and it doesn't, you know, spill. So I think we're good there. Excuse me. shouldn't do that right on the microphone, but you know. No, you don't know. So just, you know, fill this up right here. I did say we're just gonna ink, but you know, it's the illusion that it is just ink. I need to do this because we're animating as well. So just, you know, fill this layer up right here, the glyph. And yeah, this is probably going to be one of those scenes that I'm probably gonna end up making an animation of. Like an actual 3D animation trying to achieve a Disney Pixar or, you know, industry standard quality of animation, despite being, you know, despite being ill-equipped to do it. I'm actually doing a great progress in that part for, you know, episode 1 of the Underland project, which I might share, you know, a clip of it by the end of the stream, just to tell you guys the progress that I've made so far for the animated short. So yeah, just gonna finish filling up this parts right here. Make sure we don't have a spill as much as possible. Oh, that's something. Carly Carcor. You do it because you want to do it, and I don't really know. Yeah, I'm gonna be... It's possible that... I don't know if I'm ever going to like model Solivet in Blender. Like create a character model of her. I'm also not sure about Vicus, but Ares, Henry, Luxa, definitely gonna have to make a character model for those guys. I mean, also, you know, a spinner, the spinner. Probably not the spinner too. I don't know, because I'm only planning to animate that part where Gregor met Fanger and Shed. And after that, I don't really know what the future of this project is. It's a fan project, so I can't stay too long on it. I'm already staying too long with it. And I don't want to stay even longer than a few more years. I want to work on an original project as well before I turn 30. But yeah, hopefully episode 1 is going to turn out really great and will perform great in the public and would propel the status of Doodle Notes Productions into a higher recognition status. So just going to finish up the fill here, and then we're gonna do some inking for Gregor next, just so we cover up the cliff background. I mean the cave background, the cavern wall background. Fixing some stuff here. It's easier to do the fill tool, but since this is drawing that is not closed, it will also be very challenging. That's why I'm doing something like this. So there we go. probably the final part right here. So yeah, Carly the car. If that question is directed to me, the characters that I already modeled in Blender are Gregor, Boots, and the crawlers. And since the crawlers mostly look the same, you know, I just modeled one crawler and then I used that one model to make the other crawlers. So Temp is the crawler, the one crawler that I made is Temp, and all of the other crawlers are just a duplicate of him, actually. And also the cave tunnel environment, but that's not a character. But anyways, you can go check it out on my KoFi page, on my KoFi shop. I give it away for free. But also don't, if you can, don't hesitate to give some support there as well. So there we go, we're done with that part. I'm just gonna add one last thing, which is just really adding more here. Now let me look at it. That's nice. If I change the background to black, it's gonna look great, I guess. But once we've added all of the other elements, it will look even more awesome. So let me just go back. There. Yeah, I'll be showing a short clip of my progress on the Underland project, episode 1 so far. After this stream. So now we're gonna be working on the Gregor model. I'm just gonna go and make the cliff fill opacity to just lower it a bit so we can still see the sketch for Gregor here. Or maybe I'm just gonna set that to 1. I'm gonna select the sketch object here and I'm going to try if this works. Viewport display in front. And it works. Okay, so now we can see the sketch object no matter what, even though it's, you know, it's overlapped by some other layers. So we have the cliff layer here. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna move this back slightly, right there, and I'm gonna Shift A, add a blank grease pencil object and call this Gregor. And now we're going to do some inking for Gregor. So I'm gonna Control Tab to draw, go to the layers, add a new layer. I'm just gonna call this G_line for Gregor. Gonna add the solid stroke, and I will need the black fill as well. So select the solid stroke first, and let's start inking Gregor. So I'm gonna start with his hard hat here, which I think I'll use this for that, actually, the curve tool. I'm also gonna reduce the size of the ink to maybe about 18. I'm probably going to need to also reduce the thickness, not the size, the thickness of the stroke for the cliff. But yeah, let's work on Gregor for now. I'm just gonna follow the shape here. So this will ensure that it is nice and even. I really do need to reduce this thickness of that stroke. Probably make this 15. Now let's keep going. Excuse me. I'm probably also gonna do something like this for the bottom part here. Just gonna do that and that. I'm gonna tab and then I'll need to delete parts of this, except for like this middle part right here. I'm gonna delete that, because that's gonna be like the back of that, of the hard hat here. I'm gonna be moving. Okay, where am I? Okay, we're in edit mode. I'm just gonna move it and try to do something by eye. I'm also gonna select this part right here. Just gonna control L that, or just gonna select this part here and this part. What did I press? This part right here. I'm just gonna delete those points. Now I'm gonna draw again, go to pen tool, and I guess I'm just gonna draw the rest of the hat like this. This is a hard hat. So like that. Probably, do I have, yeah, I need this to be 0.5. Like the smoothing. 0.5 as well on there. So that our stroke is nice and smooth. I probably need to set this active smooth to 1. I'm also going to reduce the thickness of this stroke right here. Let's keep going. Yeah, maybe like that. Like this. No. Maybe like this. Like that. And then like that. Same for the other one. Just gonna go something like that. And like that. And now for the rest of it. I also need to move this a bit. So, yeah. Maybe smoothen that out. And I'll just draw the rest here. I'm not gonna use a curve because there's no tapering happening. And just like that. We have the hard hat. Now we can continue with the rest of Gregor. So just gonna draw the hair here, neck, and the neck of the shirt right there, the backpack, the baby pack, which I'm still not sure if Gregor was still wearing it during this time. This is probably one of those mistakes. It's gonna end up one of those mistakes of this artwork. And then add the sleeve of the shirt. Add some creases as well. I think the thickness is, it's too much. Probably need to reduce this to about 8. The radius of 8. And let's keep going. So, pack right here. Like that. And then like that. So this is like a baby pack. It's like a backpack where you put a baby on it if you're carrying around a baby. Like a baby carrier, but like a backpack. We never really had one of those. kind of like, you know, Gregor. Even though we had a baby in the house once, which is my little sister. Yeah, reading a book again while having a little sister kind of really like emphasized really, you know, it's a new experience. It's a different experience because I can relate to how Gregor worries about Boots, and how, you know, I understand that what he did here, why he did this leap for his sister, and having like a real sister really emphasized the feeling of this. Like really makes you understand why Gregor would go to this, would go this far just to save his sister. And I do the same thing actually. If we ever end up in this kind of situation, I definitely do the same thing. So yeah, it also helps having a little sister because then she'd voice Boots for the animations. And she even said she wants to voice Lizzie. She didn't really read the books, but I told her about it. Like, I told some parts about it, like, you know, who Gregor is, and Gregor has sisters, and she said that she also wants to voice Lizzie. So maybe someday, if ever I end up making an animation for this with Lizzie on it, maybe my little sister would voice her. But I really doubt that I'd reach that far for animations on the book, because there's really a limit to how much you can do when it comes to like adapting a book, especially as a fan adaptation. There's a bunch of law things that you need to consider before you keep going with, you know, making more adaptations. That's why if I can't do it officially, like create an official adaptation, if I can't buy the rights for the book in maybe a few years, if I can't, maybe a few years, if I can't do that, then I can't go further with the Underland project, and I'd have to move on to other projects after it. Or, you know, if things doesn't work for the YouTube channel and everything I'm doing here, probably gonna do something else. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully the future of the journey to awesomeness is brighter than what I just said. I have a lot of things I want to share to you guys. A lot of original stories, actually. A lot of islands that we still need to go to. A lot of adventures to start. I mean, if you watch the Journey to Awesomeness, you'll probably understand what I'm saying. And hopefully you watch them too, because those are my original content. And I make it... I made it so that I won't just be working on a fan project throughout the years of making it. I'm also creating original stuff while doing the Underland project. So that's what's bugging me since the start of the project. It's that I can't be known as the guy. I can't only be known as, you know, the Underland project guy. There should also be other things, because I don't plan on staying too long on the Underland project. I want to move on to other projects as well, and make original projects. And hopefully I'd be able to do that. You know, I'd be able to keep doing this. So yeah, there we go. Almost done with Gregor here. And it's only been 40 minutes, so we still have a lot of time. We can probably move on. We can probably move on to the rats. But I still need to add some fill for Gregor, so this is gonna be I don't know, I'm not sure if we'll reach the rats, but yeah, this is not the last part of this series. I plan to stream the animation part and also the editing part in Kdenlive, which is going to be like a usual thing in this channel, because I want to like share how I make, you know, videos from start to finish, so that, you know, you guys can do it too. And, you know, you can just use my videos as a learning tool. But yeah. Yeah, my channel, there's like, I got like, I'm probably not gonna make too much tutorials in Blender, like how because there's like a bunch of other Blender channels out there creating, you know, the same tutorials, and there are others that are not great and others that are, you know, I'm probably guilty of those not great tutorials, and there are those channels that are really capable of creating, you know, tutorials. And I don't think I'm that channel. I mean, I just create simple tutorials like how to export animations. It's really going to be focused more on filmmaking and animation. My tutorials will be focusing more in that area. So how you can, you know, it's like applying those other tutorials you watch. It's kind of, you know, how do you apply it? How do you make stuff with it, with those kind of knowledge? And I guess that's what I'm showing in my channel here, to show you those stuff that you can make with Blender, and to really, like, you know, do something that you can make a career out of as an artist. And also, you know, to be able to like really make a film or animation, and not just like some tests and a few modeling and stuff, but really apply all of those knowledge to create films and animations. And that's gonna be like the focus of this channel. So there we go. We have the line for Gregor. Now we're gonna add some fill. And I think I can use the fill tool for Gregor, because it's got a lot of closed areas here. So I'm gonna go to the black fill, make sure to select, create a new layer, bring it down the G line and call it G fill, and let's see if I can fill it up. Yes, I can. It doesn't consider the other. I'm gonna make the sketch. I'm gonna try and turn off the sketch for now. I'm just gonna add some fill on Gregor. It's gonna be easier because Gregor, as I said, is closed. I'm probably going to need to go to options of this brush settings and set the leak size to 1, so that there are no gaps. So just keep going here, add some fill. Probably gonna bring this back to 3, but if bringing this back to 3 doesn't work, well, it works. Let's make this 2. So yeah, just fill up this part right here. I'm gonna turn off everything for now, just so we see, and make the background brighter, so that we don't miss a spot. Now this is gonna spill out, so I'm just gonna do something like this for this part. So like that. More fillings. Wait, did I draw? And I draw in the camera view, but everything seems to be fine, so there's nothing to worry about. Just fill up some parts here, and I think we already filled up Gregor nice and nice. And there's a spot left there. And since that spills to the background, I'm just gonna go do this since it's just a small one. And there we go. We have the Gregor layer. We can now turn on the others. Go to what am I doing? Go to here actually. For the background, change that to black. We have Gregor right here. Now for the rats. Let's ink the rats. And for the rats, I actually want to do something different for it. Probably not. I plan to do like that fur to like draw like really, you know, for the fur. I plan to do something like that. Let's first things first. I'm gonna Shift S cursor to world origin, and then I'm gonna Shift A. I'm gonna add a blank grease pencil object and call this rat 1. This is the rat first layer, which is going to be like the rats closer to Gregor. So I'm just gonna go G, Y, move this maybe right here, and I'm gonna draw rats closer to Gregor. So I'm gonna go to draw, add some inks. So R1 line for rat 1. Let's draw rats closer to Gregor here. Oh, I need to add a material, the solid stroke material. I'm going to turn off all the other layers for now and just leave the sketch and the rat layer. Make sure we are in front view. And what I said that I'm oopsie. Go back to the pen tool. What I said I'm gonna do for the rats is something like this. For the fur, I plan to like do like that, but that's gonna take so much, and that's probably gonna take away the focus from Gregor. But we'll see. First, I'm gonna do some outlines. Make this thicker. So there's the nose of our rat. And just follow our reference here. And then the ears. And this rat is reaching for Gregor. And the rat's paws, as I remember, goes like this. Like that. And they don't really have a thumb. So, yeah, just keep going like that. This part is gonna be covered, but I'm gonna go all the way so that we don't have any limits for the animation part. And I'm probably gonna be duplicating some of these rats. So there we go. And the feet. Just some quick pause here and there, because this rat is running after Gregor. The tail. Let's go all the way for the tail. And close it like that. For the other leg. So something like this, following the other leg. It's just gonna go like that, I guess. I'm gonna draw the other paw right here as well. So there's a bunch of rats here chasing Gregor. This is probably supposed to be rat 2. The second layer. Yeah, I'll need to make this a second layer. I'm going to have to rename this rat 2. So R2, rat 2, R2D2. I'm gonna shift D this, SX -1. Just to reverse it. Slightly change stuff. Just, you know, reshape this. Like that. So this is the second layer. We'll need to make more rats here. Some more rats. With razor sharp incisors. So draw something like that. The rats will still need to be better looking. Chasing Gregor. So some of them probably will just stay like this. Don't forget the tails though. But yeah, most of this is probably not going to be visible. So I'm not going to be too meticulous about it. Then another rat right here. Make this rat smaller now. Because they're further away from the camera. Like that. And I will have to copy those two as well on the other side. Control L. Shift D. SX -1. I gotta turn off the proportional editing. SX -1 again. Put this here. And just to add a bit of something. Actually, delete that. I need to do this and do that and deselect some of this so that we only select the right rats here. Control L, Shift D again, SX -1, GX. So this is the lazy way of doing things. But just to add a bit of a difference, I'm going to add a paw on this, on the other side of the rat here. I'm gonna add a paw. Just to add a bit of a distinction from the other side. So there we go. That's the rat 2 layer. I'm probably gonna do the fills, you know, off recording. I'm just gonna keep going with adding more rats here. So this is the second layer. I'm just gonna move it right here. I'm gonna be following these lines right here. So this is the second layer of rats, and there's gonna be another layer of rats right here. So I'm just gonna Shift A. I'm gonna go object mode actually, Shift A, add a blank grease pencil object, and call this rat1. Rat1. Add a new layer, R1 underscore line, and add that solid stroke from the material here. And let's draw the R1 rats, or the layer 1 rats. I'm gonna turn off the rat layers, or I'm just gonna reduce the opacity of this. And now we're going to add more rats for the first layer. Rats, you know, farther nearer to Gregor. And there's just one rat shouting here. This is gonna be kind of tricky, so I'm mostly doodling at this point because I don't really have a reference and the sketch doesn't match, so just gonna doodle these rats right here. And possibly so there we go. That's the rats closer to Gregor. Let me erase this part right here. This looks like a wolf. And I think the pose of this rat is mostly this part of the run. Something like that. And I'm drawing from the camera view, which is, as I said, not cool, but it looks like it's fine. I'm gonna have to actually need to move this object, this rat one layer, to there. So yeah, you see here how that looks, and that's gonna look really cool once we do the animations for it. So I'm just gonna go finish the tail here. Maybe a slightly crooked tail won't be a bad idea for that rat. And you gotta add one more right here. Further, smaller looking rat. So, like that. Just like this, actually. And then, let's see what else we can add here. Maybe add one more rat above here. Or probably not, that's fine. I'm gonna add just a foreground rat above here. Yeah, we have this rat, which shouldn't overlap the other one. And I'm just gonna select all of this, Shift D, SX, -1, GX. And what I'm gonna do for this rat so that there's a distinction is that I'm gonna switch their position. This one is gonna be the one on the top. I'm probably just going to grab the head. The head area here. Control L that probably, yeah, and I add this on top right there. Delete parts of this. I'm gonna add the bottom part on the other rat. So this is just so we can save time. You don't have to redraw stuff. I'm gonna attach this to this other rat here. Delete some excess. And I'm going to have to turn off some of the rats here so we can see what we're dealing with. So yeah, like that, and finish this rat here. So now if we turn on the others, so yeah, this is the other rat for rat 2. So we've almost done here. It's a bunch of rats, and rat 3 is going to be the one in the foreground, which I'm going to do in the off recording because it's already an hour. And as I said, I guess as a promise that I said, I'm gonna be sharing just a few clips of my progress on the Underland project, episode 1. But yeah, this is it for the inking part. I'm gonna turn on all the other layers, so we'll see it. I'm gonna do the fill layer for each of the rats off recording, and then also draw the foreground rats right here, the rats closer to the camera. So yeah, that's all. And I guess the last thing I need to show you guys is a preview of the short film that I'm working on based on the book Gregor the Overlander by Suzanne. It's a fan adaptation, and I'm trying to actually practice using this project, see how far or how much I can do by myself in terms in the filmmaking and animation. In terms of filmmaking and animation, how far or how much I can do by myself. But yeah, this is the clip, episode 1, Big Bug. Just a few seconds of the start. So yeah, that's all. Actually, that's all I've done so far in terms of adding like the currents and the visual effects and stuff. So yeah, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Mbuddy, if you're still there, Carly Carcar. Thanks for watching. That is all for now. I also want to thank my KoFi givers, to the ones who's given before, and the ones who keeps on giving. Magnolia Weathershield, Erick Madrigal, Elizabeth Munie, Tristan Wintle, GulliermoGage, and Mbuddy. Thank you so much for the KoFis, for the help. Also, if you want to support me, go to ko-fi.com/DoodleNoseProductions. And yeah, follow Doodle Nose Productions everywhere on the internet, and also subscribe to this channel, the Doodle Boat, where I share how I make films and animations and stuff. So yeah, that's all for now. Next week we're gonna be finishing this piece for TUP Art Challenge, and then I'll be working on a bunch of other stuff that will tell you guys the story of the journey. But yeah, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. My name is MJ Vilches, and yeah, bye.